Hey, what's up, guys? Good to be back with you again. We are playing against Ilaoa and Tuamata. And before we get into this, I'm going to go ahead and do the thing that one of our watchers recommended that we do, which is to put the player here on the left on cover and the player on the right here as a stopper. Let's see if that does something to sort of help our defense around. And the question is, do we keep these players out there or not? And I think that we probably will, because the game's going to tell me here, and here it is, to make all sorts of adjustments. We're not going to do that here today. We're just going to stick with our boys, and we're going to see how it goes from there. So here we go forward to the match. We remain on our winning streak. We have not lost in 12 matches, I believe it is. And this team, which I thought was going to be one of the better teams in the league, our opponents, that is, unfortunately have not played so well this year. And so that's pretty good for us. It gives us a pretty good chance, I think, at winning this match and having another addition to our comfortable lead. Yes, we played 12. We're currently 8 games or 8 points up ahead. And we're getting to the point pretty soon where the league basically is going to be ours unless something really strange happens. We are once again, of course, in red and white, and there are a number of teams here in the league I've noticed that end up wearing blue. I only think that we have the one type of uniform since this is an amateur league after all. And it's Palipua, of course, going back to grab that one, and he passes that over to Atu. And Atu is going to faff around a little bit with the ball, and he takes it way out of the penalty area, passes it to Moe, over to Maele, down to Norti, over to Loke, over to Maele again, who has a great shot on goal, and that one forces a really good save from the keeper. And so here in the early going, we had a shot on goal already. We weren't even a minute into the match. And it's Fetuau here with the corner. He dumps it forward, and he finds Corey Norty for the first goal. It's 1-0 for PanSa East FC. That didn't take long at all, and you can see that we have our supporters cheering us on, though there sure aren't a whole lot of them. My guess is that here in American Samoa, we probably shouldn't expect to have any of those really large crowds, right? But it's good that some people were able to come out and show their support for us. American Samoa, of course, is not exactly like the greatest footballing nation in the world, and it kind of shows. But it doesn't matter, and it doesn't have to be, because as long as we can come in and win, that's all I really care about. I don't care too much about anything else. And it's going to be Moe with the throw in over to Norty. Norty with it back to Moe. And he lumps his forward looking for Maele. Can't find him. It's back to Corey Norty. Norty back to Moe again over to Atu. Atu looking to thread the needle there. Can't quite do it. And this is lumped forward, and this is going to be potentially a problem, but Fetuau was able to get back onto that over to Moe, and that is knocked out for a throw. That's going to be a throw there for their side, but that was a pretty good job on defense, I thought, and there's Loke with the interception over to Maele, back to Loke, down to Ken Coulter, over to Malani, and Malani is going to take the shot, and it's going to force a good save from their goalkeeper, Cook. And so we're back into the corner game. And it's going to be Fetuau here to take the corner. He steps back and then winds up and fires and shoots it forward, and can't quite find much of anybody. And this means that we're going to have to defend again. Atu almost getting himself thrown out for that tackle. Well, already with the yellow card, and there's a pass to Maele, who somehow gets behind the defense and then is just wide open and takes a shot and scores. That's number 20 from this season. That, I believe, puts him in the lead for the goal-scoring title in the league. And so far, so good. 2-0 here for PanSa East FC, and we're about 25 minutes into this. And Maele, I mean, there was no nonsense from him from that one. He just took the ball right there and shot it from range, and that's all she wrote. 2-0 here for PanSa East FC, and we have to be on our guard again. And it's down with Moe, and he passes it forward for Maele, who looks forward for Loke, but can't quite find him. He's just not quite fast enough to get that one. Fetuau now over to Atu. Atu with the pass over to Loke there on the left side, or I'm sorry, on the right side, a right back. He's not quite quick enough for that, and this results in us having to defend once again. Fortunately for us, though, their shot is once again completely off target is what I'm looking for, and they have managed another save. And unfortunately for us, our attempted clearance doesn't quite work. And this is poor by Atu. He needs to go over and grab that one. So they take a shot from range, and there's a little rebound, and nobody's there. So they go ahead and grab it and score the goal. And it's 2-1 now for PanSa East FC. So Atu needs to wake up and grab the ball. And instead of doing that, or even getting in position for the obvious shot, he is kind of daydreaming and kind of wandering around. We could use a better goaltender, I think. That was a pretty weak display by us. 2-1 now, and we have to be careful that we don't let them back into this match. This is lumped forward, and they are able to dodge a tackle or two. Their Coulter has it now, and it ends up being passed around. We're holding our position on defense, which is good, and it's Ken Coulter who ends up grabbing that one, and he tries to flip it forward. Nothing happens. It's going to be Fetuao who gets this over to Loke, down to Malani, who flips this one forward for Maele, who's behind the defense again, and he's going to, oh, no, he's not going to score. Cook ends up grabbing that one. I guess he was trying to lob the keeper on that one. I don't understand why he doesn't just put that one into the back corner, and they are called for offside. So not a bad job from us overall. But so Maele has this ball here, and he's beating the defense, and I mean, just hammer it, man. I guess he did hammer it. That was deflected by a defenseman who somehow managed to get in front of him. I thought he was trying to lob the keeper, do something fancy with it. It's lumped forward. Maele is not there, and there's nobody there on that right side at all. Classic amateur football where you got huge swaths of the pitch where there's just no player. Coulter grabs that one over to Palipua, down to Maele, who misses it, but it goes over to Corey Norty, who's going to score a second, and it does get through. 9th goal of the season for him, and 3-1 now PanSa East FC. See, we can give up goals here from time to time, and it doesn't really matter that much. It doesn't hurt us. So Maele is not even close to getting that one. They let that ball fall behind everybody. It was kind of a ridiculous job by their defense. And Corey Norty, once he got one-on-one with the keeper, was always going to score. 3-1 PanSa East FC, and you knew that this was going to happen. And it's another dominant performance by us, I would imagine, from the match stats. I guess we could switch over to them, but we can't at the moment because Maele has a free kick that resulted in a shot on goal that was hit off the top crossbar. And this goes back here to Palipua. Passes it all the way over to Norty, who unfortunately is not quite able to get onto the header, but it's Atu who has it now, and he finds Maele. Is he onside or not is the question. Ends up with Loke, who looks again for Maele, who probably is offside here. It doesn't matter because his shot hits off the side crossbar. That's kind of the hard crossbar to hit from that angle, but somehow he managed to miss that one, and we go into halftime. We do know that you are capable of even better, so let's do a better job out there, guys. It's only 3-1. We should be up by about 6 or 7. Unfortunately, our attack kind of fizzles out, and that will be the end of that highlight. So we'll see what happens. Good games for the most part, although Atu on the defensive midfielder is kind of having a poor performance, as is Pela Malani, who's getting a rare start. We're probably going to end up taking the two of them out here in a couple minutes. Their goalkeeper, Cook, has knocked this one forward over to Palipua to Norty. Norty to Loke. He passes it over to Ken Coulter, down to Loke again, the other Loke. Over to Maele, and this is a header that goes to nobody because there's nobody there, and it's not the first time we've seen that happen. And the ball is knocked all the way back to our goalkeeper, Atu, and it goes over forward to Malani, the one who we just said we're going to take out, and I think we're going to go ahead and make that substitution here because he didn't look like he was interested in doing much with that at all. So we'll put Afa on for him. I said we're going to take out Atu, and we will... I guess we will put on Ryan Coulter for him. Why not? And we'll replace one of the defensemen, I suppose. We don't want to do that. There we go. And let's see what happens. Let's see if we've destroyed everything or not with those 3 changes. 3-1 so far, PanSa East FC. It's Fetuao here with the corner, and he steps back and fires. And it's punched out, and that was really an opportunity for us to get something, and unfortunately we were not quite quick enough to get onto that one. It's passed backwards now by them, and let's see what we can do here to get onto this one. And there it is, over to Loke, down to Ryan Coulter, who passes it, lumps it forward, looking for Maele. Can't quite find him. Over to Norty, now to Maele. Maele over to Coulter. Coulter back to Loke. Look, and there are a couple of guys you can cross it to, and he finds one of them. It's Afa with the goal. Afa Leavo. And I didn't see how many goals that is for him so far this season, but that's a super sub for you. 4-1 now for PanSa East FC. This is a little bit more like it. This is more kind of like what I was expecting. And Loke here could have crossed it to 4 different guys. Only 3 defenders back there. He had 4 guys all standing there right in front of the goal. And he kind of, passed that one, crossed that one up in the air for grabs. And we grabbed it and we scored it. And so we'll go ahead and continue this. Cook here, their goaltender, with another pass that ends up going all the way back to Moy. And we'll set it up again. Moy lumps this forward now for Maele, who tries to find Ryan Coulter and does. Over to Afa now. Back to Maele. And I hate it when he does that. I guess that was supposedly a shot on goal. I think that he was trying to pass it to somebody. He doesn't know how to pass. I mean, like I said before, he's only 15 years old, so he has some time to learn. Ryan Coulter with this over to Afa. Afa down to Moy. Moy lumps this forward looking for Nordy. Can't find him. And we're going to have to defend here again. And they are close to scoring. And Atu, unfortunately, is not able to make the save. And so it's 4-2 now. And that was pretty poor there by Atu. He should have been able to get onto this one. I mean, you have the defender in front of the man who forces a shot from a pretty awkward angle, and Atu gets both hands on it, and it just goes straight through his hands and is the goal. 4-2 now for PanSa East FC, and they have another shot, or another highlight here, and they lump this one forward, and Atu this time is able to grab onto it, and will deliver the ball forward looking for Maele. And we have given up possession once again, and we might be in trouble here. And fortunately for us, their shot ends up being wide, and the player was also clearly offside, so it doesn't matter. Atu lumps this forward looking for Ryan Coulter over to Afa, who looks to find Maele, but it's a good pass by Afa, but it's just a little bit too far out in front of him. And it's a good thought, though. It's kind of what we do want to see him do, but it's hard for us to get these players all on the same team and thinking the same way. Loke ends up heading this one to the other Loke over to Coulter. Coulter finds Maele, who is behind the defense, and there he goes, lobbing the keeper. That's going to be his second goal of the match, 21st of the season. And it's 5-2 now, PanSa East FC. We may be giving up some goals, which I do believe is partially because of the tactic, and is also partially because of the quality of our defense. And especially the quality of our goalkeeper. But as long as we can score them like this, I don't really mind it so much when we give up goals. I mean, we can give up as many as we want as long as we're getting goals back like that. And it's 5-2 now for us. Fetuao goes back and grabs this ball, passes it forward to Loke. Loke with it, plays with it a little bit on the right side over to Coulter, down to the other Loke, over to Ryan Coulter, to Nordy, who tries to thread it forward for Maele, can't quite do it, and it's back to Fetuao, who just lumps it forward for Ryan Coulter. That's one way to do it. Afa not quite able to intercept that pass, and it doesn't really matter so much. See, Ryan Coulter goes back and easily wins the ball back, passes over to Fetuao, who lumps it forward for Maele. And unfortunately for us, though, his pass is wayward, and that is goal number 3 for them. And it is now a 5-3 lead, and we're starting to have some problems. We're starting to have some of these problems in midfield. We have, I think, 2 players who are playing out of position, which may be the cause of some of our discontent. Although I do have to wonder why we have this guy playing right back if he would rather remain like halfway up the field. I mean, he's so far out of position here. He's just not fast enough. You can see him huffing and puffing trying to get back. So much for that. That's Loke, Twakifalele Loke, who I think is having only a second start so far of the season, and we can see why we haven't started him more. There's a little lump forward, and it's caught by Cook, their goaltender, and now we may be in trouble. And this is a good pass over to Tagai, but fortunately for us, his shot is a little bit too high. It hit off the top crossbar, and it's gone out for a throw-in. And okay, what are we going to do here? And Fetuao was able to go back and win that, intercept that pass over to Male to Nordy, and then that is intercepted again by them. Fetuao, though, is able to intercept that pass, and he passes it back to Atu, which is the last thing in the world I want to see, because I know one of these times Atu is going to do something stupid and is going to miss it. Maele lumps this one forward looking for Nordy, but it's too far forward for him. However, the pass from their goaltender is back to Fetuao over to Afa, and he finds Maele there for the hat-trick. Should have been for the hat-trick. Yeah, that's a ridiculous miss. And how many times have both of these teams hit the crossbar? This is another one of those ridiculous things that we see in Football Manager so often. Teoni knocks this one forward to Tofaiano, whose shot, fortunately for us, even though it's from point blank range, is off target. And I guess that's how you can tell these are amateur players. I mean, it's fine to be an amateur player, but I can tell you that there's no way I'd want to pay for any of these players. That's a ridiculous job by Maile, who has a chance for the hat trick and instead misses it. And it would be harder to hit the crossbar or to hit the goalpost than to score the goal when you have the entire goal right in front of you. That was pretty ridiculous. Fetuao is able to head this one out of danger. And this one bounces off of somebody. It's Afa with it, and he knocks this one out for a throw-in. And so we've got about 5 minutes left here to defend, 5 minutes plus change. I know that everybody's tired. I know that we probably should be making some substitutions. I'm going to let them play a little bit more. Nordy ends up with this one, looks forward for Ken Coulter, and it's deflected, and Maele ends up with the hat trick. So he can score that. At least he can score that goal, because with some of the teams that we've been playing against, I think there are some players in this league who would still somehow manage to knock the one over the goal, over the top of the goal. So it was Nordy there with this pass over to Ken Coulter, who has a good shot, though from a bad angle, and then Maele is just right there in front of everybody and is able to grab the rebound. Right place, right time is kind of what Maele's MO has been so far this season, and we are going to win this one. Looks like 6-3 rather. Here is Teoni with this corner, and he lumps this one forward. And it is passed back. It's knocked back down to the side. And the next cross is also knocked down. Ken Coulter is able to knock this one forward. And that's going to be the final whistle here, I'm pretty sure. Yep, and there it is. It is all over. We have 6 goals in this match, 17 shots for both teams, actually. XG of only 3.32 for us as compared to 1.65 for them. So we do need to work on our defending. But this was a pretty good offensive job by us. Hope you enjoyed that one, and I'll see you tomorrow with another one. Bye-bye.